Welcome back to another video, and this time we're heading to the grocery store. Times are not the best and many people are looking deeper into their budgets for ways to economize, and the one way I'm going to share is how to save on groceries while still eating healthy and well. The first thing, of course, is to cook more. Don't always resort to takeaway and dining out, which is definitely more expensive. And when it comes to grocery shopping, you can reduce your bills by using some of these tips. Now, first things first, in these crazy times, it's important to stay safe, so put on your mask and gloves while shopping. As you can see, I'm not wearing any jewelry because it just adds to another item to sanitize when I get home. My first tip for a hefty saving is to buy non-organic vegetables and fruits. The prices are much higher for organic vegetables and fruits. For example, just take a look at this broccoli. Look at the difference. Oh, by the way, it is in Malaysian ringgit, which is about a 1 to 4 to the US dollar. And then compare these carrots. I'm sure your family can enjoy these non-organic ones just as much. But it is important to wash these thoroughly to get rid of all the pesticides and stuff. You can use a vegetable wash, or you can simply use a part vinegar, part water to soak these for a few minutes and then rinse through. Now, this is not the time to buy fancy vegetables and sauces that you don't really need. You also need to consider more value for money, so avoid buying more than what you need. Take, for example, these mushrooms. If you feel that buying 2 separate packets of mushrooms might be wasteful, but you do want a little of each, consider buying a mixed packet. Consider adapting your menu to include the remainder of the mushrooms. Now, there are so many options for cooking with mushrooms, and I'm sure you can find something. Please remember that bulk buying isn't always the cheaper alternative, especially for things that are going to go bad. For example, vegetables. Even if they are cheap, don't get tempted to bulk buy unless you can include it into your menu to cook and eat before it goes bad. On the same note, cruciferous vegetables will last a lot longer than leafy greens, so be mindful of this as well. Now, bulk buying is a great way to save money in some instances, and that is if it is regularly used and has a longer shelf life. But do remember that many staples are price controlled and that the size of the packaging will not differ in price per unit. Buy large packets of snacks and cereals. These can be bought in family packs at a fraction of the price. These 6 individual packets are a total of 150 grams, and this bigger one is 330 grams for only 2 ringgit extra. So all you have to do is to take them home and store them in smaller servings or fill them into containers and jars to remain fresh. Now, while making your menu and when shopping, pick vegetables that are in season. Out-of-season vegetables and fruits can cost more. And an alternative, if you really do feel like having it, would be to get it canned. One of the things I use plenty of, but that fluctuates a lot in price and quality, are tomatoes. You can use canned tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, which add a lot of flavor and have no preservatives either. You can also use tomato paste or puree as a replacement. And as these come in many different sizes, choose wisely and get the size you require. Similarly, out-of-season fruit can be very expensive, so opt for frozen fruit like blueberries, strawberries, and even corn, carrots, and broccoli. Now, tip 5 is to look for cheaper alternatives. With our families, we emphasize a great deal on proteins. Now, when money is an issue, meat and cuts can be interchanged depending on the price and availability. In the case of chicken, the cheapest to buy is the whole bird, so you can use it in bits and pieces. If you want to buy it already pre-cut, offal meat is also relatively cheap, but only if you're okay with eating that. On the other hand, if you're giving your dog or your pet chicken, then offal meat is a great alternative. Thighs are the next cheapest, followed by drumsticks, wings, and the most expensive is boneless breast meat. So choose wisely and be creative with your cooking. Now, besides meat, many other choices can be made for protein as well, and these are equally good substitutes when on a pinch. Tofu and lentils are the first that come to mind. Lentils come in many options and they are extremely versatile. Similarly, for tofu, it comes in many textures and flavors, making it a great option for versatility. Start a meatless Monday or a weekly vegetarian day for your family. Vegetarian meals are also a great way to reduce your meat intake. And one way to introduce vegetarian meals would be to use beans. Serve chickpeas, serve kidney beans. All these beans will give you the necessary protein you need. The options are just endless. And if you need some ideas, you can look towards Indian recipes for hundreds of options. Now, on the note of replacements, onions can be interchanged. The price of onions can range considerably depending on the season and import conditions. While onions normally cost 2 ringgit 90 cents, right now we are paying between 7.90 and 9.90. And these can also be used interchangeably. The more spicy ones can be substituted with a sweeter type and then added some extra paprika while cooking. And similarly, any other type can replace the sweeter one just by adding some sugar. It's not perfect, I agree, but you can make it work when you're on a budget. Alternatively, you can also use powdered spices where possible. You actually use it in very small quantities, and that cuts down cost as well. Every small saving counts when you're on a tight budget. Now, usually we just compare the prices of the brands available, but you also need to check closely the net weight, or you might be getting a lot less for a little less. You should also compare ingredients to ensure that it's not cheaper only because it is full of fillers. Another tip is, if you're trying out a completely new flavor or paste, then get a small pack, even if it is slightly more expensive in comparison, because you might not even like it. Buy the bigger one only when you're sure you're going to use it. Tip 8 is not to be afraid to buy clearance stuff, which is near expiry but still good. But be prepared to use it quickly. Of course, freezing it will also extend the store life a bit. Here is something we like to do but should not do. Do not buy pre-peeled or chopped vegetables. Firstly, it's more expensive, and yet it is tempting because it saves so much time prepping, but you're getting salvaged food, what is probably partly spoiled vegetable and fruit. It won't last as long, and you have paid more, so avoid the urge to buy pre-peeled. Now, as you can see, they are low in stock, making it all the more likely that these salvage portions are overripe or damaged fruit. Tip 10 is to look for in-house brands. These are always cheaper, more value for money, especially things like biscuits and deli meat. You could look for a local brand instead of imported stuff. Now let's compare these wafers. This is imported while this is local, and the price is half. Give local brands and products a chance. Try out a few and find what you like. I will add a blog post soon with more ways to save money while eating well. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's different from my usual organizing videos, but finances and budgeting are definitely an extension to home management. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more home management videos. I also want to remind you that during these difficult times, you need to keep yourself motivated and calm. And there is nothing like learning some new skills for that. I recommend you to try Skillshare. It's specifically made for learning, meaning you will not be interrupted by ads. You can focus while learning new crafts, skills for you to get motivated, and inspiration from experts. They add new courses daily, and let me just say they have something for everyone. I have picked one for this month that I hope you will watch. I suggest you watch Design the Life You Want by Michelle B. It's very motivating and deals with the basic principles of being productive. So follow the link in my description box below and do sign up for a free trial. Until the next video, this is Raveena saying, stay indoors, be safe, and happy homemaking.